Okay, so this is the fourth session in my Train Your Piano Brain tutorial series, which is designed to kind of accelerate your piano learning and give you an easy, quick, kind of instinctive relationship with the piano keyboard. Now in the last session we were jumping around, finding chords and practicing the way we mentally map the piano keyboard. Today we've got more jumping going on, but rather than finding particular chords, we're going to be chasing after intervals. In fact, a specific interval, the octave. Why are we doing that? Well, because whatever sort of piano music you're playing, whether it's like Mozart sonatas or anything from a written score, or you're improvising more modern styles or whatever, then one of the things you'll most often need to do is to play two instances of the same note an octave apart, like this, C and C, or E flat and E flat. It happens in both hands all the time. It's really, really common. The problem is that landing on octaves securely and accurately is quite hard, especially if you're playing several in sequence, as you'll often have to. So the exercises we're going to do today are designed to give you more skill and confidence with octaves. By the by, they'll also help you to reinforce your general keyboard mapping, your jumping and your precision skills, all the stuff we were working on in the previous tutorial in the series. Like all the other exercises in this series, this one takes the form of a game that you can play against yourself when you're sat at the piano keyboard practicing your other stuff. It has 5 levels, and try, if you can, to master each level, or at least get to a stage where you can play it reasonably confidently before you move on to the next. Slight health warning before we start. Actually, it's a literal health warning. This is one exercise where you really need to warm up before you get stuck into it, okay? Because you're stretching your hand, you'll be putting quite a lot of pressure, in particular on the muscles on the outside of each hand, and if you're not careful, you might strain something or get an overuse injury, especially if you've got relatively small hands and you're having to stretch quite a lot. Take it from someone who knows hand injuries and repetitive strain in your fingers and such like is no fun whatsoever, so do this at the end of your practice, or at least warm up with some scales or some gentle stretches first. Okay, that's the serious stuff out of the way, let's crack on with the game. Level 1 is reasonably simple. We're just going to play a scale of C major, but in octaves, first with the right hand and then the left, like this. Up 1 octave and down 1 octave. Left and right hands separately. At first, take it steady and aim to be as precise as you can rather than, to play it quickly. A really important thing with octaves is that you're hitting each of the two notes with roughly equal force. You'll usually be using thumb and fifth, and it's very easy to come down with much more force on one than the other, and that leads to an uneven sound. Evenness and accuracy are really, really important here, so focus on them first. Doesn't matter how slow you go, focus on the evenness and the accuracy, and then try to speed up a bit if you can. Level 2 is like level 1 but with hands together. So try that C major scale in similar motion, where both hands go in the same direction. And in contrary motion, where they go in opposite directions. Again, aim for evenness and accuracy. That's the whole point of this exercise. You're training the tiny muscles in your hands and your fingers to make those tiny fast adjustments that you need to play octaves fast and well, and also to play the piano in kind of a smooth, professional way in general. By the way, if you're finding this useful, don't forget to check out the other tutorials in the Train Your Piano Brain series, and also to subscribe to my channel. Just hit the little red subscribe button down there and it should subscribe you without taking you away from this tutorial or losing your place. Level 3 is like level 2, but we're going to do the exercise using a scale that has some black notes in it. A major. Here's the regular scale of A, and we've got 3 sharps: C sharp, F sharp and G sharp. Now just run things exactly the same as in level 2, but you might notice that those black notes are a little bit harder to land on than the white notes when you're playing octaves. Let's have a go. And in particular, transitioning from black to white and vice versa can be tricky, so take it steady. What we're aiming for here is evenness, or being as even as you can, and accuracy rather than speed. Aim for good secure landings on those notes. You'll find this particularly tricky probably if you try to do it as we did in level 2 in contrary motion. Okay, we'll talk about the reasons for that later, but have a go at that if you can, but don't worry if you're struggling with the contrary motion octaves in A major for now. In level 4, we're going to move into slightly different territory. Instead of playing scales, we're going to play arpeggios, broken chords up and down the piano keyboard. Okay, here I am on a chord of C, 2 octaves. I'm probably going out of shot at the top there. I probably will down here as well, don't worry too much about that. You can see the notes that I'm playing. I'm just playing up and down the chord. Yeah? When you're reasonably happy with that, try it, both hands together in similar motion. In other words, going the same way up and down the keyboard, quite slowly. That's beginning to get reasonably tricky. Once you can do it with C, try it on chords that have more black notes like B flats. Again, start slow and build up the speed just a little bit, but it's much more important to keep things steady and even. Okay, level 5, and this one is the killer. It doesn't look much harder than level 4, but it is. And not that many pianists will be able to do this at a reasonable speed with 100% accuracy all the time, least of all me. But it's worth doing because it will give your hand and your arm control and your keyboard mapping skills a massively intense workout. You know, this is the equivalent of doing, like one-arm pull-ups with a sack of potatoes under your other arm. So once again, we're doing octave arpeggios, hands together, just like in level 4, but instead of playing them with the 2 hands in similar motion, we're going to go for contrary motion, like this. Okay, you should find that pretty intense, and you'll find that your 2 eyeballs are each trying to go in opposite directions as you try and keep tabs on what each hand is doing. What makes it difficult is that each hand is playing different notes. You probably have found the same thing if you tried the scales in contrary motion as well. When we're in similar motion, it was all C's, E's, G's, C's, E's, G's. But here it's C, then E in the right and G in the left, then G in the right and E in the left, and then C in the right, C in the left. And each time you're having to jump a slightly different distance with each hand. That's what makes it really hard. Again, take it, move it out into other keys, try it in things like B flat. Okay, I'm going to run out of keyboard. Here we go, yeah, managed it. Are we going to get home safely? Yeah, more or less, but it's quite hard work, okay? But again, focus on accuracy. Although it's really difficult, focus as much as you can on being smooth and even and steady, and that's more important than speed. If you can get it to a point where it's really fast, then whoa, can I do it? Can I do it? Not quite. Oh, that's hard. That's hard. If you can do it really quickly, that's great, but more important to be smooth and even and steady. Right, there we go. That was intense, but it should have done your piano brain a huge amount of good. As with all of the exercises in this series, little and often is best, even if it's just a couple of minutes at a time. But with this one, as I say, do make sure you're warmed up first. You don't want to hurt those hands. So there we go. There'll be another Train Your Piano Brain session soon. In the meantime, I'll just give you a quick mention for my books, as usual. In particular, How to Really Play the Piano, the stuff your teacher never taught you, which has all the stuff you need to know about getting started with chords and improvisation. You know, it's really comprehensive. You just need to be able to read a little bit of piano music to read it. It's available as print and download editions. Lots of people have got it. You know, lots of people really like it. Have a look at the Amazon reviews. Just click the little info box on the top right, or the link right underneath the video to find out more. You might also like to check out my Patreon crowdfunding campaign. Patreon funding is great. It's a, you know, it's a regular monthly income for me that just helps me to free up a certain amount of time to make these tutorials. If you can spare just $1 or $2 per tutorial, that would be awesome, and I would be hugely grateful. Just check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/Bill Hilton. Again, there's a clickable link below. So there we go. In the next week or so, we've got the final instalment of my Jazz Piano for Beginners series coming up, slightly delayed while I prepare it, but it's on the way. And the next episode in my Piano for Absolute Beginners series, which is proving really popular so far, in that I'm covering stuff like, you know, how to read music and all the basics of traditional piano lessons. Then there will be, as I said, another Train Your Piano Brain tutorial soon. So there's loads going on. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you soon.